One of the beautiful things about Hazel Grace is that she, as much as it sucks, as much as she hates it, she embraces what she has instead of sitting here 24/7 sort of wallowing in her own sadness, because it's a really awful situation that unfortunately she has to cope with. But she's a normal girl going through normal girl things of meeting a guy for the first time, falling in love for the first time, and does my hair look okay? Does my breath smell bad? Everything from that to she's going to college and she's taking classes, to dealing with her parents and sometimes being snotty with them because she's just sort of leaving the angsty teenage years behind, but they're still there a little bit. There's a book that Hazel, my character, reads constantly. It's called An Imperial Affliction, and it's written by this author named Peter Van Houten, who moved to Amsterdam, became a recluse, and doesn't respond to fan letters, is not part of anyone's lives. And to Hazel, this book, An Imperial Affliction, it's about a young girl who dies of cancer, and the end of the book, it ends mid-sentence. So throughout Hazel's entire life, she's always wanted to know what happens to the other characters, since the book doesn't really have any conclusions. And since meeting Gus, he made it his wish so that they could go to Amsterdam and meet this author and ask him the questions that she's always wanted answers to. They're two incredibly strong-willed, wise young people who connect based on the fact that they get things that a lot of people look past. I love Ansel. He played my brother in a movie called Divergent that we both just finished, so lucky for us, we got to know each other pretty well in that movie. And then segueing from that into this was the biggest blessing, because we naturally had our chemistry, we already knew each other, and then we could just play and have fun as Hazel and Gus, and that's such an integral part of their relationship. So we both feel very grateful for that. But Ansel's he's like my brother for life. He's so curious about the world, and everything excites him. The smallest thing, the biggest thing, he gets the biggest smile on his face, an infectious smile. Willem was super fun to work with. He was only in for a few days. He only worked 3 days. And I briefly met him before we commenced our first scene, but it was just for rehearsal, and it was very, very brief. And so jumping into it, the first day we worked together was the intense scene where basically he tells us off, and I liked the fact that I didn't really know him, and I liked the fact that he didn't really know me, and we were able to sort of go at each other in this room. And God, it was so much fun having him here. It's fun to work with the same group of people every day, but then when you get this one person who comes in and rocks it out, I mean, talk about a pro. Willem, he had basically a 5-page monologue scene, and he knew every single line, word for word. Every take he did a little bit differently, just to keep it fresh and organic, and I was blown away. Everybody feels the way Hazel and Gus feels. These aren't unique feelings. These aren't unique themes or intense storylines or universal truths that no one else has ever discovered. But the way that John is able to articulate these facts and manipulate the words in a way that makes you both empathize with them and relate to them and feel angered by them and hurt by them and excited by them. He just has this really beautiful gift of being able to write. You're just going to leave affected, and it's really nice to feel. And I don't think that enough of us feel on a daily basis, or I think a lot of us feel on a daily basis. We just don't acknowledge our feelings, and this movie won't let you leave without acknowledging your feelings.